Good morning. This is Rashad Mitchell, comes to you live from my YouTube channel. So I continue chronicling the moments and the events in Black music history. On this day in Black music history, it's excerpts from a book that I purchased from my Amazon Kindle, and I'm a big admirer of Black music history, and I just felt intrigued to just discuss the book that I'm going to be doing a lot, with the books that I've purchased, that I've read, and just share with you the information that I gathered through the book that I've purchased, and I want to just share it with you, the listening audience, from a book. That's where it comes from. It doesn't come from me. It comes from that a book that I bought on my Amazon Kindle. If you're familiar with Amazon Kindle, it's a great tool to have, because you can download the book, any book, on your phone, and that's how I was able to discover the book. So all the part series that I've done comes from that book, because I'm a big fan of books like that, that's historical. That's what I do on my radio show, on Gyroscope Radio, the Rashad Mitchell Show, every Saturday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always, do a book reading segment, because I love books, I love reading, and I always share with the listening audience and the viewing audience about books that I've read, that I've purchased. So I want to just give that point of reference, that this is not just my original material. This is coming from a book that I read on this day in Black music history. It was a book that was written by someone. So I'm just breaking it down in parts to talk about the book, and the excerpts from the book, because it's a great book. And so I'm not taking no credit for it, because it's not about that. It's all about just doing what I like. There's no wrong with reading somebody's body of work like I do on my show. I've read books by countless authors on my show, because it's all about just giving that information, gathering information. It's like, if you have a newspaper in your hand and you're doing a newspaper report, you're reporting on stuff from a reference from newspaper sources to discuss something that you saw in the newspaper. And you're going to read the article from that newspaper to the people about the information that you gathered from that newspaper. So the same thing goes with reading a book to someone. You gather information from a book that you like, that you read, and you want to share the information from the book that you read, as far as excerpts are concerned. So that's what this is all about. This series is all about just, reading about, talking about books that I've purchased in my lifetime from my Amazon Kindle, and just reading it too. That's what I'm going to be doing with this this segment, this part series about on this day in Black music history. So now I'm in the month of May. May 2nd is when I'm going to be talking about the events and the moments that shaped Black music history and chronicling it. So on May 2nd, the #1 R&B song in 1970 on May 2nd was Tyrone Davis, "Turn Back the Hands of Time." May 2nd, 1956, the Joy Tones, one of rock and roll's first girl groups, not the Supremes, not anybody else. The Joy Tones were one of rock and roll's first girl groups. Recorded their single, "Gee, What a Boy." The 79-cent single became a $300 collectible. May 2nd, 1960, Benny King, lead singer of the Drifters, was fired by his manager, George Treadwell, when he asked for a raise. May 2nd, 1960, Etta James reached the Hot 100 with "All I Could Do Was Cry" at number 33. Her first of 28 hits over the next 10 years. May 2nd, 1970, the modest chart success of Killer Joe, number 47 R&B, and number 74 pop, was the start of Quincy Jones's illustrious career, as he went on to have 28 R&B pop hits through 1999. His contributions as an arranger and producer for other artists such as Michael Jackson earned his earned Jones as a Grammy Living Legends Award in 1990. Earned Jones, Quincy Jones, a Grammy Living Legends Award in 1990. Took place on May 2nd due to Killer Joe with the modest chart success, but it started, a great success for him moving forward. Quincy Jones. As I continue on, May the 2nd, 1981, Rick James charted with his album Street Songs, reaching number 3 pop, an amazing it was on the charts for like 20 weeks. Rick James was the nephew of Temptation bass singer Melvin Franklin. Originally formed the soul group the Minor Birds, whose membership included Neil Young, Bruce Palmer, and Goldie McJohn. So Palmer later joined Young in Buffalo Springfield, and McJohn joined Steppenwolf. Now, Street Songs remained on the pop charts for 74 weeks and the R&B hit list for 78 weeks. So this was the best of Rick James at that time in 81. That was just a great album. All right, interesting. May 2nd, 1989, Michael Jackson was nearly arrested when he showed up at a Simi Valley, California jewelry store wearing a wig, fake teeth, and a false mustache to do some innocent shopping. Security guard alerted police to the potential thief as the embarrassed star removed his disguise in order to satisfy 3 carloads of cops. Interesting. But it shows you, Michael Jackson was, again, a big mega star. And when you that big, sometimes, you gotta cover up, you gotta wear a disguise in public because you concerned that somebody may recognize you. So obviously he had to do that. Why would he wear a wig, a fake teeth, and a false mustache to do some instant shopping? Because he was a mega star. He knew that people was going to recognize him for who he is, so he had to do that. So interesting. May 2nd, 1991, B.B. King's Memphis Blues Club, owned by the blues great B.B. King, opened on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee. May 2nd, 1991, Lenny Kravitz performed at the Apollo Theatre in Manchester, England, at the beginning of an 8-date British tour. Apollo Theatre, you think that'd be in New York, but that's what it says here. Hope I'm not misinforming the situation, but it says the Apollo Theatre in Manchester, England. Maybe it must be an incorrection. There was an Apollo Theatre in England, but that's what I read right there. May 2nd, this is the final event and moment. May 2nd, 1994, the Shirelles were inducted into the R&B Foundation with the Pioneer Award and performed dedicated to the one I love for the first time in 17 years. So that concludes the look at the moments and events that shaped Black music history from May 2nd. I'm going to upload this video and come back and talk about the events and moments that took place in Black music history for May 3rd, including the #1 R&B song on May 3rd. So this is Rashad Mitchell. Check out the description that I'm going to post at the bottom of the title of this video, Understanding Black Music History, part 32. And like I said, this is just excerpts from a book, that I purchased, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Reading books that talk about the chapters in the book and turn into a series and to just break down what I read and give you that information with the content. That's what it's about, just gathering information from research, from what I read, and that's what the content is about. You gotta, make sure that you give a point of reference, so it's not to think that it's all about what you've done, but you're taking what somebody else put together, and you bought the book, and now, like myself, I bought this book on Amazon Kindle, Understanding Black Music History, and I'm just going to discuss the events that came from the book. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I used a point of example with the newspaper. You buy a newspaper, you want to do content about something that's in the newspaper and what is reported. The information, you go to that point of reference from that information. And that's what it's about, just discussing what you read. That's like I show Jaquan's Hip Hop Historian Extraordinaire. I show his videos on my show. Not to steal nothing from him, but to showcase his body of work, because he's such an excellent hip hop historian of the highest order. So I'm going to salute him and showcase his body of work to show people, hey, this guy's got great content. He has great work. Check this guy's body of work out. And it shows you that the selflessness of the situation is selfless, because you're not making it all about you, you're making it about somebody else's body of work. And that's the thing I'm doing with this Understanding Black Music History, is to be selfless in talking about somebody else's body of work that they've done, and sharing it and going through it through a part series perspective about what took place in Black music history. So it's not stealing, it's not copying, it's just taking what I like, what I admire, and just sharing it to the the audience, whoever's gonna be popping up, whoever's gonna be subscribing. So I'm saying, so all I'm trying to do is do my best to not act like I've done all this. I got this from a book that I purchased, that I truly loved and liked, and I'm just using it as a point of reference, as a part series, and talking about the events that took place on these dates during the calendar year from January to December. Now I started doing it for April, because I was in the month of April, which we currently are. Now I'm in the month of May. So that's what it's about, man. Just coming up, being creative with my content, because that's what it's about, man. If you want to, if you're a book lover and you love books, common sense, if you love yearbooks, any kind of book, what I'm saying, you want to create your own content through books that you've read, and talk about the books that you read from the chapters, and create some type of content from a book that you read, that you bought, and you want to share what you read. That's all it is. Innocence, nothing serious. So that concludes this video on this day in Black music history, part 32. This may be I think it has to be the longest video I've done since I've been doing videos for my channel. So I did do a video 5 years ago. Actually, I did one similar to this on my book, the top 50 underrated classic albums in hip hop history. I did part 1. It lasted like 12 minutes and some seconds. When I first saw it, when I saw it for the first time in a long time, it was 112 views. It was part 1. So what I did is what I'm doing now. I just didn't continue on with what I was doing, looking at doing this part series on my book. So like I said, this may surpass that, may not, because I think that was like 12 minutes and 52 seconds, something like that. But either way, this is like my longest video I've done since I've done all these part series, as far as the parts. So that's all I gotta say right now. Check out all the websites that I'm a part of, and support. I got another video coming up. I'm gonna try to do 2 more videos today and call it a day and keep moving. Because again, doing 3 videos, that's a lot of videos in a day, but it's all good. I'm definitely gonna create as much traffic with my content as best as possible. And that's basically it. So that concludes part 32 of Understanding Black Music History, chronicling the events and the moments that shape Black music history. Until then, talk to you soon.